I just bagged the elephant!
I had spent my summer going through old company reports and had located a secret treasure map. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, as the geologists had drawn where the high gold results were. All you need is a hint of gold in the soil. Then get out there and camp. Camp in the guts of your anomaly and be prepared to walk around, testing every likely-looking spot. You'll find that you will start to walk in your own boot prints after a few days. Then you know that you're having a good look around. Hopefully, you'll get a nugget, which may lead to something big. The elephant treasure map has a gold in soil anomaly, a 5 parts per billion, or ppb, that was 1 kilometer long and some 200 meters wide in places. In fact, when it was all said and done, the shed from the elephant reef followed that gold anomaly perfectly. Of course, it's science. Now here's how the story goes. I had the secret treasure map and was chasing this large gold anomaly. I pulled in just for the day. I'd been there before, but now came in from another direction. I liked the country because there were big quartz reefs around, which are signs of intrusion and movement. So I did a big loop, had lunch, then went for another detect. I was almost back to my truck. I thought, it's a lovely day, still early. How about I head over to that tree and back? As we know, it's the second effort that gets us the wins in life. Bingo! I got a lil 1 grammer in the calcrete. I really had to dig for it. I walked around the rest of the afternoon for exactly nothing. I came back the next day intent on dragging a chain. I got my second piece straight away on my first chain line. But nothing else. The quartz on the ground looked lovely. The 2 nuggets I had were round and smooth, just like out of a creek. So I lined them up, took a bearing, and headed in that direction. I saw some big trees, which I instantly liked for a camping spot, should need be. I zigzagged through them, then turned back towards my truck. Bam! I pinged a 3 grammer. Then, yippee! I got a 7 grammer, followed by a 5 grammer. I knew I was on a patch. Nugget cillin was starting to flow. Suddenly, the whole ground lit up, and not far down below was my first decent slug in quite a while. It felt good to feel its weight. I dropped to my knees and thanked the heavens. It was my 9-ouncer, a great start. I took 2 more steps and whack! The ground lit up again. But to my dismay, it was a brass sampling tag, about the size of a coffee cup bottom. I just had to laugh. The previous explorers were so close. I moved camp that afternoon to those trees I liked. I didn't have a fire that night. A can of baked beans and bottle of red were in order. A weird full moon came up. I was happy because I had just found a fantastic new patch and also had a heap of food and water. It was time to go commando. Be very quiet. So over the next 10 days, I grid my patch. When on gold, I move every bit of timber and trim the branches on the trees, making a big stack as I chain. Pulling a chain means you systematically detect every inch of ground. Some people hate to grid their patches and are amazed when they find easy gold in an old patch of theirs. It was never worked properly in the first place. I got some lovely nuggets. The total after 10 days was 870 grams, and I was thinking that it would be nice to break the 1 kilo mark. Normally, after I grid all day, I like to roam around and check out the countryside in the afternoon, because it gives the old carcass a stretch. So one afternoon, about 300 meters away from my camp, I came across a small salt flat, which is a heavily washed area. I had a go on it, then turned back towards camp and was walking under this big tree when, bam, the ground lit up. It was a huge signal. I dug to the hardpack, then had to get a chisel. I hit it softly, not wanting to make much noise. Finally, I freed a lovely 14-ouncer out of the calcrete. Wow, my patch just expanded by about 250 meters. After the 14-ouncer, I got a nice concentration in a modern-day creek. I had a ball. I got some lovely gold, clean, chunky nuggets. A 3-ouncer was about the best. Suddenly the gold cut out, but I still had about 100 meters to grid to cover the distance to get back to the first patch. I grid for a solid week for nothing. But it had to be done. I had to close the gap between the two big slugs, 14 and 9. Suddenly, wacko, the ground lit up. Down about 18 inches, I had a 10-ouncer. Then a 5-ouncer was shining on the surface about 20 feet away. I didn't know it yet, but I was on the inside bend of an ancient creek. I was about 6 weeks into gridding at this stage. This is very important. You have to grid your patch, otherwise you'll miss gold. I like to grid because once you do an area, it's done. Over. Okay, maybe a new detector comes out later, so go back to the best spots. But once it's grid, move on. Otherwise you're going around the same tree for years to come. See these big trees here? Well, big trees mean deep ground, and that's where I got the 14-ouncer, which was deep, and I had to chisel it out of the calcrete. Now I was working towards a 2-kilo haul. I finished my gridding for the day, and I was out for a wander over the next ridge in the creek when, oh my God, I hit a patch of huge slugs. It started off with a 14-ouncer, yes, another 14-ouncer. I called this one the chicken. Then all big chunks, it was everywhere in this creek, but they were deep, about a foot deep in a bed of quartz. I got puffed out and just started marking the signals. Nuggetcillin wasn't going to save me that day. There was just too much gold and digging. There was a nondescript slight ridge up from the creek. I wandered up on it and got a very rough and jagged 4-grammer. I knew by looking at it that the reef was close. Another few steps and...
Woohoo! I just bagged the elephant!
Yes! I had just found Elephant Reef. See how poxy the ridge that hosts Elephant Reef is? It was just a finely eroded greenstone, aka chlorite schist. Just goes to show, always try everything. I hope that you enjoyed my rendition of Elephant Reef. The second chapter is coming right up. It'll be as exciting with some monster hunks of gold being recovered. If you appreciate my efforts, please subscribe. Just click the small prospector in the bottom right-hand corner. Like and comment so that YouTube knows I'm doing well and you are enjoying my content. Cheerio!